program is provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our program, CHW in Action. My name is Rafael Calderon. I'm your CHW. As always, CHW stands for Community Health Worker. And the in action part is because I'm always trying to bring you, the community of Nashua, information about health education, health systems, and things that are going on in the health area. And today I have the privilege and the honor to have Mike from the United Way. He's the new president of United Way. And I love the United Way. I know they do a lot of great things for the community, and I want him to share some of the programs and events that they have going on. Mike, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rafael. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you tonight.
Congratulations, you are the new president of United Way.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been with United Way for about 2 months now.
How do you
So
like
short, well, how do I like it? I love it. I wake up in the morning excited to go to work, and I get home and having had a great day. So it's, I think, the best job in the city.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Now, I met you through Liz. She said you have to have Mike on the show because Mike is a great guy. And Liz Fitzgerald, she's from United Way. She's been to the program. Lovely lady. Yeah. So that's how I know you. I know you're a good guy. But please tell the audience about you, who you are, and how you came to be the president of the United Way.
Well, so I've been with United Way for about 2 months now. And before that, my wife, daughter, and I, we owned a family business in the city of Nashua. For about 10 years, we've owned a small retail store and sold our business a couple of months ago to a family who wanted to start their own business. And at the same time, I had been thinking I'd like to do something which is more in the nonprofit world. In business, I had always been very involved with the business community and networking and getting out and meeting people. But I wanted to do that more professionally as a nonprofit professional. And the opportunity came along to step into the United Way, and it just looked like the perfect fit. And so far, I have to say, it really is a great thing.
Nice, and congratulations on selling your business.
No, thank you, thank you. Go ahead. No, it was, we started it from scratch. It's one of those things, anybody who's started a business and built it to something that they felt comfortable that they could then sell has been through quite a process, and we were excited. We were excited to find a family that wanted to run it the way we had as well. So
very nice.
Yep.
So you went from owning your own business to a great job.
Yes, coincidentally, 2 buildings down from where my business was. So I don't have a big commute either. It's about what it was.
Now, what made you choose United Way as a place to want to work for?
Well, when I was starting to look for nonprofit opportunities, I was really looking for an opportunity that would allow me to still be very engaged in the community from a networking type of perspective. I've been with our business very involved with the Chamber, the Nashua Chamber, on their board of directors and also with their ambassadors committee. So I go to most of the networking events, business after hours, and that type of thing, and was really looking for a nonprofit opportunity which allowed me to still do that. In fact, in essence, required me to still do that as part of my job. And so with United Way, when it comes down to it, my job is generally fundraising. So United Way is at its essence an agency which goes out and fundraises on behalf of a wide variety of other agencies and nonprofits in the community. We become a funding agency. And so as in that role, it's very important that I'm going out into the community and meeting with business folks, leaders of organizations, having the opportunity to talk with their employees about how they can participate in the United Way and give back to the community. So it's really, in essence, it's very much the same as what I had been doing in business, but the hat that I'm wearing is essentially the hat of all of our agencies. I go out and wear, I go out and carry the flag for Lamprey Healthcare, and I carry the flag for Boys and Girls Club and the Greater, the Youth Council, all the different agencies that we support. I in essence represent them through the United Way.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I've seen you at a few meetings. I saw you at the one Greater Nashua.
Yep.
That was the first time I saw you.
Yep.
And then you came to the Hispanic Latino network that we had at Lamprey a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
So you're going out to activities and events. What kind of vision do you see for you? What kind of impact do you plan to have some vision for United Way?
Well, it's a couple of things. To some extent, the vision is more of the same, because United Way is an agency that has been around for a very long time and has been extremely effective in its role. So it's not so much a complete reinvention as much as it is enhancing what we already do and what we do well. One part of my vision is that I think we need to take very seriously our role as the United Way of Greater Nashua. So to some extent, I think we've been very much bound by the city of Nashua, through no fault of anybody, just it's been sort of evolved that way. But we represent 11 communities in the Greater Nashua area.
11 communities.
11 communities. So for us, we represent everything from Merrimack on the east to Milford on the west, Merrimack in the north, Hudson on the east, Merrimack in the north, and all of the smaller surrounding townships like Wilton and Amherst and Brookline. So I think it's very important for us to get out into those communities and work with agencies that serve the needs of those communities. For example, when we go out to Milford, we have Milford Share is a very important part of their community. It's essentially their food bank. We have the Boys and Girls Club of the Sohegan Valley is serving really critical needs to the youth of the Sohegan Valley. And it's important for me that we get out there and work with those agencies more than we have in the past. That's not really a new vision, but it's a new emphasis for me. At the same time, I want us to be more engaged with the business community outside of the Nashua city. So being involved with the chambers of commerce for the Sohegan Valley, for Merrimack, for Hudson. I've been going to all of their events and starting to establish a presence with their business communities beyond the Nashua Chamber of Commerce.
Very nice.
So I wouldn't say it's really a vision as much as it is more of the same, but perhaps in a broader geographical scope.
Very nice. You do a lot of outreach. What if a business or organization wanted to work with you, with the United Way? What would be the process?
The process for working with United Way is there's really two different ways in which an organization would choose to work with the United Way. One is volunteerism. So United Way sponsors every year something called the Day of Caring. That is a huge volunteer of effort where we'll have teams of employees that come from businesses throughout the community who will then in turn volunteer at agencies throughout our community that United Way helps to organize and sponsor the event. For example, you might have a team of employees from, say, Fidelity, and they would come to the Day of Caring and be put into action at perhaps the soup kitchen, painting a wall, building something, rebuilding something, serving food, whatever the case may be. That's what the Day of Caring is about. So it's a very large volunteer effort. The other way in which we get involved with businesses and organizations is, of course, on the fundraising side. So if an organization was to have a relationship with United Way, basically what we do is once a company says, we support United Way, then we're going to start what we call an employee campaign. An employee campaign gives employees within that organization the opportunity to give, typically through their payroll, to the United Way, and it is in any amount that they want. It could be 50 cents a week, it could be $3 a week, it could be any amount that they want, and it comes out of their payroll and then goes directly to United Way, and we in turn will redistribute that funding that comes in to the agencies that have come to us for program grants.
Very nice.
We make it very easy to work with us, and we work with a lot of different companies throughout the region. Really a great and very supportive community.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
We at Lamprey Healthcare, we have a vision of a healthy Nashua.
Mm-hmm.
So how is the United Way working towards achieving that goal, not just for Lamprey,
Yeah,
but
sure.
for the whole community?
Sure. Well, one element of United Way's approach is every couple of years we will go out and survey the community in a variety of different ways to come up with a needs assessment which touches upon what are the critical needs for the community for the next couple of years. And so in our current needs assessment, we're basically focusing on 3 areas. Health is one area that we focus on. We also focus on, and it should be no surprise to anybody, coming out of the Great Recession, we focus on the safety net, that people really don't fall through the cracks. And those are programs that are geared towards those really critical, urgent needs that need to be dealt with sort of here and now, sort of food and shelter type needs. And the third area is what we call transitional housing. Transitional housing is, if you think about the recession, there were a lot of people who lost their homes through foreclosure or were evicted if they had been renting. And where do they go? What do they do? And it's really not so much finding shelter as it is a longer-term approach, where we'll work with agencies like the Anne Marie House over in Hudson, where a family can live for up to 2 years. In that time, get back on their feet, save for a down payment, get employed. It's really a hand up, not a hand out. So back to your question that you asked. You asked about health, and I didn't say anything about that. So our focus on health is primarily on, well, a couple of the programs we fund sort of, I guess would help to illuminate what we focus on.
Mm-hmm.
We work with the Greater Nashua Dental Connection. You could argue that dental care is a safety net need or a health need. It could be really, you could look at it as either.
Could be, yes.
But dental care, good dental care, is one of the hardest things for somebody to come by when they are in a situation of need. So we work with the Greater Nashua Dental Connection. We work with Lamprey Healthcare for people who need help, and even under the Affordable Care Act, can't afford insurance and need health care. We also have some innovative programs that we've worked with. For example, the YMCA has a program that they call Prescribe the Y. And Prescribe the Y is essentially a doctor can write a script for a young person to go and get education at the YMCA about healthy cooking, nutrition, and it's geared towards diabetes prevention and sort of weight management type issues. So a variety of different levels in which we look at healthcare.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So do you work then with organizations? Let's say that a person had a need. Let's say they became homeless or they had a dental health issue.
Yeah.
They couldn't just go straight to the United Way for help.
That's a really excellent question, and I get that a lot. The United Way. No, you wouldn't come to us for that. Now, you might come and ask, and we do have people that will walk into the office or call us up and ask about immediate and kind of urgent types of needs. And there's 2 things that we would probably do in that case, and both of them are geared towards providing information. One is we might know of an agency that can directly help with that need, and we would refer them to that agency. So, if, for example, somebody is at risk of having their utilities turned off, we're likely to say, because we know them and we work with them, that they would be referred to the front door agency. Front door agency, in turn, has a fund that they work with people on exactly that type of need. The other would be, if it's something where we aren't directly connected to an agency, we would probably refer them to 211. And for your audience, 211 is a program that is a United Way program where somebody would call up, and regardless of whatever kind of social service need they have, they would be able to be connected with an agency that can help out with that need. So let's say you know, you have a friend who's having a crisis and you need some suicide prevention counseling, that type of thing. So you would call 211, and they would say, well, this agency, and this agency in your area can help out specifically with that need. And it's free and it's confidential. So that's something which we're very proud of is 211, and it's as easy as remembering those three numbers. You just dial it and it's free and confidential. So that's kind of what we would do. We would either directly refer you or refer you to 211 for further information.
That's good to know. I know about 211. I wasn't sure that it was a United Way project.
It's a United Way partnership in New Hampshire. Our primary sponsor of the program is actually Eversource. They host 211 in one of their call centers. It's actually hosted up in Manchester. But the United Way throughout the Granite State, there are several United Ways in New Hampshire. We all help fund 211. But if you look anywhere else in the country, 211, wherever it's found, is really generally a United Way initiative with partners. Interesting. Yeah.
You guys have a lot of cool programs. And I want to talk about one, but you feel free to tell me about more.
Of course.
Liz told me that you guys get books from Barnes & Nobles.
Yeah, we do.
And then you distribute them around the community. And I went and I got some for the children of Lamprey. And I'll tell you that, well, the children who are patients of Lamprey.
Yeah.
And I see the kids playing with them all the time.
Oh, well,
so
I'm
it's
glad
really
to hear
nice.
That. Yeah, that's a brand new thing, actually. And we were approached by Barnes & Noble here in Nashua, and they have a program where every year their employees and their customers will donate books, and they look for somebody to partner with to help to get those books distributed. And this year, we were contacted by them and said, well, what would you do if you had a lot of books to give away? And for us, that was an easy answer, because we in turn put it out to all of our agency partners and said, really, the only thing we ask is, A, if you come and get some books for your program, don't take too many, because there's a lot of people who need them. And B, we really want them to be kept in-house, not given away necessarily as gifts for Christmas or something like that, but kept in-house so they could be used and reused and read and reread throughout the year. And that's worked out really, really well. Every day I have an agency, somebody will come in. Today, somebody from the YMCA came and they picked up some books for one of their programs, or just here around the corner, actually.
Nice.
So it's just a great, easy, simple little program, but it's a nice way to participate, especially this time of year.
Nice. And what do you think about One Greater Nashua? Because I know that United Way has a lot to do with that project.
Yeah, so One Greater Nashua is a program that is really community-wide, and there are a number of people in the partnership, a number of organizations involved with the partnership, including the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation as a funding partner, including the City of Nashua, and including a number of others, and the United Way. One Greater Nashua. Oh, and I should mention also the Chamber of Commerce is a big partner there as well. So One Greater Nashua is really an initiative which is essentially aimed at creating a welcoming environment for our immigrants, for the newest residents in the city and the Greater Nashua area. And essentially the idea is that the more quickly you become connected and the more effectively you're connected to both the social fabric and the economic fabric of your community, the more quickly you can become a productive member of that community. So it's hard. I mean, I lived in Germany for a couple of years, so I was never an immigrant, but I know what it's like to be in a different country and have to figure out, where do I go and what do I do and how do I do things? And I couldn't speak the language, and I had the benefit of many people in Germany speak English, and I wasn't an immigrant, I was a student. But nevertheless, you get that sense of it's not the easiest thing in the world to navigate a foreign land. Indeed. And especially if you're from somewhere which is really different than the United States or Nashua community. Well, what do you do to get started? Where do you go? What are the services? How do I learn the language? How do I get a job? How do I start a business? Those are all questions which One Greater Nashua is really geared towards helping our new immigrants to answer. One of our programs is called a navigator team. And so we have a team of people who are trained as navigators, and a navigator essentially is a person who partners up with a new immigrant and helps them, kind of like a social worker would, to find out, where do I go to learn the language? Well, you might be connected with the Adult Learning Center. Or where do I go to find out about starting a business? Well, you might be connected to the Chamber of Commerce and perhaps be connected to SCORE for counseling, or the business, the Small Business Administration for funding. So that navigator team is really critical in that they can help a person to learn how to function effectively in our area. And I think it's hard if you put your foot into somebody else's shoes who's really coming here as a foreigner and doesn't even know where to begin. Well, that can be tough.
Very.
So One Greater Nashua is geared specifically toward that, welcoming immigrants and creating that welcoming environment.
I thank you for that work that you guys do, because I'm an immigrant.
Yeah.
And I can relate to when I first came here.
We're all immigrants. When it comes down to it, some of us, more recently than others, but I'm not from Nashua originally, and even as a U.S. immigrant, I consider myself a U.S. immigrant.
Okay.
So I grew up on the West Coast, and New England is very different. So people are a little bit different, and there are different traditions, and it's very nuanced, some of it. And so to function effectively, it's just important that you have hosts in your community who can help you.
It helps you fit in more quickly.
Yeah, no question.
It does.
No question about it.
So now, as the president of the United Way, if I want to help you grow, and I want to help you grow the organization, how can I refer people to you? Can I have them call you directly? Can you give us your contact information, any business or organization?
Well, yes, to all of that. Of course, the internet is always the easiest place to go to find out about things. You can always look for us at unitedwaynashua.org and find all the information you want about us. You can always contact me by email, but I have a long first name and a last name and a hard email. So unitedwaynashua.org is probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. And there's contact information there. In terms of helping us and referring us, the best relationships, new relationships, are with businesses and organizations that currently don't formally support United Way. And for those businesses, I would encourage them to think about what is an effective way for me to, partner with my employees to give back to the community. All of our employees work in the community. Most of them live in the community. And we all are really just that one life event away from needing services rather than supporting services.
Cool.
So United Way is really the only agency which supports the entire fabric of the community. Every agency we work with has its own sort of specialization, and they all do just tremendous work. But many of them don't have a direct connection for funding to different companies or to individuals. So they come to United Way for that, and that's where we kind of step in and support that entire fabric. So if a business is really looking for a way to connect to the entirety of the community and show that it supports its employees and their families and their extended families, United Way is really a great way to do that.
Very nice. Do you have any projects, big projects, new projects coming up for 2016?
Well, yeah, we do actually. I would say probably our biggest project for 2016 is we're coming into our new community assessment year.
Okay.
So as I think I said earlier, every couple of years we go out and we will assess the needs of the community in terms of health, in terms of economic environment, in terms of educational needs, and come up with this rubric of needs and look at what actually comes to the top as the most critical needs. Of course, there are always more needs than there is funding. So we have to have a pretty good way to approach prioritizing. And once we've gone through that process in partnership with a lot of different people like the health department or the city of Nashua or the agencies that we work with or the hospitals or your organization, once we've collected that data and kind of reported back on the critical needs, then we will go back out to our agencies for their new funding and their new programs. So this year is really a big deal year for that because it kind of sets the clock back to zero for the next several years in terms of the agencies we work with. Do I expect it to be, huge changes? Probably not, because the environment isn't all that different from 3 years ago. But there are nuanced differences, I'm sure, that we will come across.
Okay.
And agencies are going to have different programs that they want to look at funding. So that's really the big deal for us this year is that new needs assessment and the new agency funding cycle.
Please let me know if I can help with that in any way.
Well, I will let you know about that, and likewise, you're going to be probably wanting to talk with us as well. So, of course.
Very nice. We're coming to the end of this conversation.
Sure.
What message would you like to send out to that community, to the greater community of Nashua?
Yeah, I guess there's a couple messages. One is that the United Way of Greater Nashua is the United Way of Greater Nashua. So if you are in one of those communities that isn't the gate city, if you're in Milford, Merrimack, Hudson, expect to see us and expect to see us be involved. And if you're in a business in one of those communities, don't be surprised if I knock on your door and ask you to partner with us. If you are an agency, I would say, think about what you want to do for the next couple of years and what programs you have that you think are going to meet the critical needs of the community, because we're probably going to be talking about a new cycle there for the next couple of years. And I guess the message really is that the United Way is proud to be a partner here in the community and proud of the relationships we have with both the businesses and individuals who give tremendous resources and the agencies that we have partners with who just do tremendous work.
Excellent. Well, Mike, thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of our program. Okay, and thank you for watching us. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Please continue to watch, because as you can see, the program will continue to get more and more interesting, more exciting. I'm happy to have Mike with us today. Now you know a little bit more about the United Way. So we're happy that you are with us. Please continue to watch us. Thank you, and have a good night.
The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.